right, y'all. So we here with Mr. Death from 23 and 1. He's on the other side of the interview today. So the last time I got two interviews on the brother's channel that we spoke and he interviewed me. And now the roles are reversed. He's
Yeah, yeah,
taking
yeah.
time to sit down with us and talk a little bit about his story.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I thank you, brother, for your time. And secondly, anybody on the channel who doesn't know the channel, it's going to be linked in the description. Go head over there, 23 and 1. The brother has some of the best stories on YouTube, hands down.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank
he's a
you.
funny guy.
Yeah,
Listen,
I try to be, man. I try to
of
be.
course, listen, I be watching that shit. Sometimes I'll be cracking up. It's just what we need,
Yeah,
that laughter.
I'm a jokester, man. So I mean, it's hard for me to just be serious all the time, even when I'm talking about serious shit like
Yeah.
prison.
Yep.
Uh, I try to lighten it up a little bit. I know people don't like seriousness 24/7 either. So,
Yeah.
uh, but before we get into it, man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous of you right now. I chopped my beard off because I don't know how to damn trim it, man. I don't know
Yeah.
how to trim these things, man. I mean, you gotta teach me, some tactics to trimming the sides because the sides grow much longer.
Yeah, well,
And
I fade mine down a little bit, but it's super easy to do for yourself when you let it grow back in. I'll show you. Just take a number 2 guard, put it on, and just come down a little bit. And it doesn't have to be, you know, I think we think it's a lot harder than it has to be, but coming from a barber, it doesn't have, you just got to clean it up a little bit because that
yeah,
shit
I
start
mean,
getting in your ear, start turning and looking all wild.
yeah, man, I can't stand it when it starts flaring out on the sides. But have
Yeah.
you ever thought about that, man? Like doing how to trim a beard video? Have you ever done any of that kind of content?
I very early on when I first started my channel, I did a couple of haircut tutorials, maybe like one or two. But that's definitely something that I'm gonna do now that you just brought that up because that's
Yeah,
something super quick, but it's important to guys. There's so many guys
it
out
is,
there
man. It
that
is. And I've
don't.
watched some videos on YouTube, and it's like these guys when they're telling us how to do it, they're
Yeah,
promoting these trimmers at the same
that,
time, And I'm
exactly,
like, dude, I'm not going out and buying these trimmers. Just show me
yeah,
how to do it with some regular old trimmers.
exactly. That's what I'm
So
gonna do. I'm gonna go grab a pair of Walmart, you know, clippers and
yeah.
show you that you can do the same results, and it doesn't have to be. You don't got to put dye in that bitch. None of that stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Just get it done, make it look good, and get your ass out the door.
Damn right, man. That's what I need, man. Because I keep butchering myself. I feel vulnerable without that thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like a lion without his mane.
Yeah, man.
It
That's
wouldn't
what it
look right.
feels
You see
like.
a lion out there running around naked.
Man, he looks weak.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching your channel the other day and you were talking about how we're in a store and when we have our beard, guys will look at us and they'll make that eye contact. But when we don't have it, it seems like that eye contact stays a
Yeah,
couple seconds longer.
yeah, yeah. They try to take your chain and shit.
Exactly. Skip in front of you in the line and shit.
Yeah, get out my way, dude. Get out my way. But
Exactly.
yeah, man. I talk about prison because I've been to prison.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, do you want me to start from the very beginning or what?
Yeah, start. Tell me, first of all, how old are you, brother?
I am 34, man. 34 years old. And congratulations. I know you just turned 40. That's
Yes.
an accomplishment, my friend.
Thank you. Yes,
Uh,
yes.
but yep, 34. Just turned it in September.
And okay, my birthday's the 19th.
Yeah.
We're close. Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in a city called Chesapeake, Indian River area.
Okay.
It's like they call it the seven cities because there's seven cities all around it, and they're really close together. Tidewater area in Virginia.
Okay.
Now I'm out here in Virginia Beach, right on the ocean front, and just living the good life, enjoying my freedom now that it was taken from me for pretty much my whole 20s.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, this is what I'm doing now, where I'm at now.
And growing up, you grew up in a two-parent home, one-parent home.
Yeah, two-parent home. They're still together. They're still together. I'm
Oh
very
wow.
blessed, fortunate to have
Wow.
that because a lot of families don't have that nowadays.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I was raised. in a Christian household.
Uh,
But I didn't really embrace my religious beliefs until probably when I was facing 60, 70 years, so that,
yeah,
like most people do. And some people, they turn away once they beat the charge or get out of jail or prison, and they forget all about it. But I wasn't the case, I wasn't going to be one of those guys. And but yeah, I was raised in that environment, and had
mhm,
very strict parents. I think that might be somewhat of the reason why I rebelled at a younger age, and not to mention money. We didn't have no money at all. So
yeah,
in
of
order
course.
for me to uh, hang with my friends in this new neighborhood, because I left my old neighborhood
Okay.
uh, around, I'd say, middle school,
Mhm.
and started going to high school over there. Everyone's got money. Everyone's got money, and that's pretty much what led me to a lot of thievery, as a young kid, breaking into cars and stuff like that, not only to support a weed habit, but just to get some damn nice clothes and
Yeah.
be able to kick out some gas money for people to get me to parties, go pay for a keg or something, just
Yeah.
party stuff when you're in high school. That's really what I was doing my crimes for. Nothing drug wise besides weed. I really got addicted to. I know a lot of people say you can't get addicted to it, but I was.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
what really, when I ran out of weed, or I was smoking a lot of weed a day, right? And when I would run out, I know a lot of people might not experience this, but I did. I would get very cranky, very angry,
Agitated.
and I wouldn't be, the chemicals are off or something like it.
Yes.
I was normal when I smoked. If I didn't smoke, stay out my way.
Mhm.
And that's how it was for me. And not to mention, I was a little guy. I still am pretty little,
Okay.
I'm only like 5'9", 5'10", 170 something, between 170, 180 now. And back then, for little guys and growing up wanting to, you know, uh, still live the life I was living in the old neighborhood with all my little gangster friends or whatever, bad kids.
Yeah.
I took it with me to this new area, and it just really went downhill real fast. Really, really fast. I was looking up to all the wrong things, music wise. A lot of people also say you can't be influenced by music, but I was influenced by gangster rap. I was influenced by weed and little stuff that most people don't get wrapped around too much.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Hear my one of my babies screaming down there. But yeah, man, that's what led me down the dark path.
So who were you listening to back then?
Shit. Well, Tupac for sure.
Yeah.
Tupac for sure. When I was younger, I was listening to West Side Connection big time. I
Okay.
don't know if you remember them,
That's
Mac 10 and all those guys. And then 50 Cent came around and started really listening to them, and G
yeah.
Unit and all that stuff. And
I know 50 Cent, his music got a lot of niggas locked up. You know, that
I
was the
wouldn't doubt it.
soundtrack. That's the soundtrack that was playing in a lot of cars when people were going to bust moves. I guarantee you that. I know I
I'll tell you,
I had it on plenty of times.
yeah, I'll tell you the song that really got me going was My Buddy, where he talks
Oh, with the
about
gun. Yeah, my buddy. Oh,
yeah.
yes. Absolutely.
I would get so high sometimes, man. Smoking
Yes.
blunt and listen to that song. I would look at my gun like,
Yeah.
it's my buddy,
Yeah.
and it's crazy, man. It did influence me in a lot. And also I had a sense of thought in the back of my head. I didn't want to go lock up. I didn't want to go to prison. I started going to juvie, I'd say around 13 or 14. I can't really remember. I'm horrible with dates,
Yeah.
ages, and all that stuff. Some people remember it like I don't remember half that stuff. It's like a blur for me. But
What was the
you
first
know,
thing that led you to juvenile placement?
the first thing that led me to juvie, I think, was a breaking and entering. Uh, but the first thing that got me in the system was throwing an apple out of a school bus window, and it hit a car. It
How
hit a
old were
car,
you?
and they turned around. I just moved to the area. I think I was in eighth grade, man. I think I was in eighth grade.
Okay.
And
So you're
the
on the
apple,
bus. One
yeah, the
second. I'm
apple.
just gonna flip this light real quick.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, yeah. So you throw the bus out. I mean, you throw the apple out the bus window, not knowing at the time, but the second that bus driver pulls over, everybody's telling.
Yeah, well, this is
Everybody
the
on the,
thing. This is the time and age now where they do have a camera on the
oh yeah,
bus.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the funny part, or the damn just absolutely insane part about it is, well, it wasn't just an apple. I would use to shove a battery in that damn thing,
Yeah,
and then toss it.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, I hit the car turns around, follows the bus to the next bus stop, and I knew I was done when I saw him turn around.
yeah.
And I knew someone's gonna tell on me, but it was the camera that told on me eventually.
Oh, okay.
But the crazy thing is, out of everyone in that damn city, the car that I hit was literally my next door neighbor.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
Damn.
So I had to see him every day, and I had to see his window broke the next day, and it was
So
just so weird, man.
what was that like coming home?
Well, I don't know, man. My dad might have whooped my ass. I can't really remember.
Yeah, I'm sure. 'Cause listen, I'm thinking about it. If one of my kids, I got younger
Yeah.
kids. So if one of my kids, if the neighbor comes home and tells me, yo, he does this and that, they're getting an ass whooping. They're
Oh
paying
yeah,
the
yeah.
rental, they're
Well,
gonna be mowing dudes' grass, all that stuff.
yeah. Well, my dad believed in the belt,
Yeah.
growing up, like a lot of parents do. Uh, so I got my ass whooped plenty of times. And when I got older, me and my pops used getting fist fights,
Okay.
so it was pretty crazy. Like I said, my parents just tried to, and that's why I say to parents nowadays, man, it's like your child, you can't force your child to do anything. You can only lead them.
Yep.
If they want to make a bad decision, they're going to, so just try to lead them as best as possible. And I tell you what, spanking and shit like that, it didn't work for me, man.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me. I'd be scared,
Yep.
but I wouldn't really respect it too much. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Of course. I also think, my views on that is that us as parents, I believe my job is just to give my children all the best information so that when they're put in situations to make certain decisions, um, they have the correct information, to make that decision. Just
Yeah.
to, whether they want to break into something, to realize, okay, you could break into there. You might get away with it, but you might not. Now, if you don't, this is the consequences that are going to come, and we hear so many times that the parents say, my kid's never going to do that, and we got our kids act one way in front of us and then a whole different way in front of the community,
Oh
when they
yeah.
get out there. So, that's just the way it is.
It's you know, uh I think about it like, you can't force nothing upon anyone, man. Not even relationships. A lot of people
Yeah,
are stuck with a poisonous relationship and they think they can change it. And sometimes they might,
yeah,
sticking with it, but you can't force nothing upon anyone. And especially kids. Some kids, this is just the fact of life. Some kids, they just got to get locked the hell up, man.
yeah. I
They
agree.
just got to get locked up and experience the torment
I-
firsthand to really understand.
Do you feel you were one of those kids?
Yeah, and
That's
another
just the way I
thing,
think of myself.
yeah, another thing is I was a criminal with a conscience, man.
Mhm.
And I tell people all the time, you can't be a criminal with a conscience. You can't
Yeah,
be half step. You can't be half in, half out. Uh, and that's how it was for me. I would feel bad about some things that I did, and you know, uh, it just kind of screwed me over in the long run because I had compassion for other
yeah,
people, or it would bite me back in the ass, during certain situations. And then sooner or later, I just learned to trust nobody,
yeah.
and then my heart got really cold. I mean, dark. And
I think also too, real quick, sorry to interrupt you,
you're
but
good.
I wanted to touch on that real quick. That, the criminal or the conscious part. I was the same way. Where I would feel bad about stuff and then I completely turned, my heart just got black, completely turned it off. But I think that's what makes us right now when we decide to stop towing the line and do the right thing. I think that's what makes us good people in that sense. Because
Yeah.
even when we were doing bad, it still sort of hurt us. You know what I'm saying? we still carried that weight with us. So when we start to do good, I think that shit just, it helps us even more because we were always compassionate and caring. We just chose to do other stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and
And
I think that's important.
the initial feeling, I believe, let's say you do something and initially you got a bad feeling about it. After doing
Yeah.
it, you automatically feel bad. I believe your first feeling to something is exactly what it is. If you feel bad doing it, immediately after, it was
Yeah.
bad. If you feel good, then it's good, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But like you said, we suppressed our main emotion. Our main emotion was compassion, was
Mhm.
caring and loving. That's who we really are. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I feel. And we suppressed it. But now that we embrace it, look at us now. The floodgates are open and we just love, man. And
Exactly.
we are what we were meant to be, you
Yes,
know? So,
exactly.
um,
And that makes those people like us drawn to us, I believe, too.
yeah,
That
yeah,
the
for
people,
sure.
you know, the people that society looks at like, damn, these are monsters, these are scum. Those type of people gravitate towards us because I believe they're might be the same. They're just not farther along in their process or journey yet, you know.
Yeah. And they want to see how it works for us, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Another major thing that led me to prison too, you know, with the influencing of music and stuff like that. Everything. I mean, I listen to C Murder a lot too, you know. So
Okay.
a lot of people that I listen to already been to the pen.
Yep.
They rap about the pen. They rap about getting locked up in the cell block, whatever the case is. And in the back of my head, you know, as crazy as it sounds, I didn't want to go to lockup. I didn't want to go to jail or prison or anything like that.
Yeah.
But in a sense, it was like I wouldn't be complete with my criminal lifestyle unless I did go and complete this prison bid. You know, I didn't want to, but I knew it was
You need
coming
them
sooner or later.
stripes. You
Yeah,
need
got
them
to get the
stripes.
stripes.
You
Got
come
to come
home
out.
and you're embraced, you know,
Exactly.
like a war
Exactly,
vet.
man.
You know, that's the
Yeah,
way it
like a
is.
war
Become
vet.
like a war hero.
That's
That's the way
exactly what
you're
it is.
embraced, you know.
Especially if you come out
Being taught.
solid and you ain't do
Yeah.
nothing like crazy in there and
Yep.
you survived, you ain't get no trade stolen, none of that shit. I mean, that right there, you know, just in itself, even if people don't see it, you know it. And
Yeah.
you boost your self-esteem up
Yeah. Yep.
and it will make you even darker at times. Some if
Yeah.
you've
That's
been,
like a purple heart. You know, we
yeah,
have different, the same way that the military and armed forces, you know, they come home with their badges and stuff. That's the same way we in the streets. You know, we're
exactly, man.
just in a different war
Tattoos
zone.
and
Yeah,
everything is kind
of
of like
course.
our badges, man. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So what led you to prison for the first time? Just for the viewers that maybe aren't familiar with the channel.
Yeah. What led me to prison was a stabbing, man. I had I think it was what they first charged me with was malicious wounding or like assault with a deadly weapon, something like that. But they ended up dropping it to unlawful wounding. I had some guys come to my house, my parents' house.
Yeah.
Some guys I didn't know anything about. Later on, I found out the reasoning behind it. But these guys came to my house and they tried to fight me. You know, I'm thinking in the back of my head, uh, I can do whatever I want to
Mhm.
these freaking idiots. I don't know who they are. They're much older than me.
Yep. And they're
Um,
at your house.
much bigger than me. You know, I mean, one of these dudes is just massive. I was like, dude, this dude gonna destroy me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm little, man, and I'm known on the streets for having weapons. I was known by that
How old
time.
were you at this time?
I was, I think, 17, man, because I went to jail or just a couple weeks later. I turned 18 in jail. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was in there full fledged. Uh, not even a couple weeks. I think it was like just less than a week before my birthday. It was pretty
Mhm.
crazy how it turned out. I just graduated high school, believe it or not. I graduated. It took me to
Okay.
go to summer school to graduate, but something in my head, see, that's where it goes back to I know what's right and what's wrong because I knew I didn't want to be a dumbass. I'm not saying anyone without it is a
Yeah, I know what you
dumbass. I'm
mean.
just
Yep.
I didn't want to be
That dumbass. Yeah.
one of those GED
Yep.
guys 30 years later. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
didn't want that. I wanted to I've made it, you know, throughout school. I played sports, I played baseball, wrestled, and I was a good, you know, athletic individual. I still was a class clown and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but I knew, hey man, at least finish it up and do your damn high school, get your diploma. And I did. And shortly after that, I went to prison, of course. But yeah, those guys came to my house. I didn't have no weapon on me when they started to surround me. So I walked about, a few feet behind me and grabbed a knife from the garage area. And I came back. I came back and I was ready to defend myself. And I did have a gun at the time too, but I knew better. I didn't want to kill him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I didn't even want to stab him. It was just kind of happened. They came at me even after they seen me with my hand behind my back. Most people, they approach you, got something behind your back. It's a
Yeah.
weapon,
Yeah. Of course.
And I don't know if they thought I was bluffing or something, but one of the guys they came up on me. One swung, I ducked it. I went to like dump him, but I didn't, and I bear hugged him, but I stabbed him in the back
Mm.
2-3 times. I don't even know. It's so fast.
Yeah.
I thought I killed the guy at first because it made a weird ass sound when the knife came out, man. Like it was weird. It
Did you
was like a
puncture his
suck.
lung or anything like that?
I think I did, man.
Okay. Yeah.
I know they told me, I remember this in the courtroom that they said it came like 2 millimeters from another vital organ, and that would have been really bad.
Yeah.
But honestly, I can't. It's a lot of it's a blur, man. It
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
was. When it happened, I was probably by that time I was going through a little cocaine period, and I was sniffing powder for like 3 months with weed, and I might have been jacked up on that stuff at the time. I don't know, but it was a big blur, man. Even prison, a lot of people I was in prison with, I don't even remember their names. I don't remember anything about them. And I spent every day with them, and it makes me wonder, like, damn, am I getting like, what is it?
Yeah. Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, God, man,
Dementias.
I
Yeah.
forget everything. I forget sometimes during the day. I got to three interviews. I'm like, how did I forget all three of these
Yeah.
interviews?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, these people are gonna hate me.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. And but yeah, that's what sent me to prison. Well, I had abduction too, because
Okay.
they left, went to a hospital, and I'm thinking these guys are gonna be solid. They look like damn,
Yeah.
just like the kind of guys like I was,
Yep. And
but yeah, they went to the hospital. I guess the police showed up. They told what happened, and the police showed up at my house a few hours later. I ended up washing the knife off with bleach.
yeah.
My mom's right there staring at me because I'm thinking, I
Yeah.
killed the guy. I winged the freaking knife, and it lands in the neighbor's pool. I didn't know. I just told the police it probably landed in the pool. I threw it over the fence. I
Yeah.
don't know where it went, but they ended up finding it, bringing it in the courtroom, showing everything going on. But as they told their story, they added a bunch of crap to it, and I had abduction as well,
Um.
right? And that faces some
Yeah. That's
serious
serious.
time.
That's
That's
serious.
serious. And a lot of people, this is some useful information for anyone out there. I mean, you can get abduction just by stopping someone from moving
Yes.
for
Very
two
easy.
feet,
Very easily.
very
Without,
easy.
everybody hears that and you think fucking tied up, held for ransom. You can move somebody from one room to another room and your ass is in trouble.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And I met someone in prison, a guy named Busy, and I don't remember hardly any names, but I remember this was
Yeah.
one of the first guys I met in there, and it was like fate. I believe it's fate when I meet certain people because,
Of course.
I mean, this guy, is in prison for what I just beat, and he was doing 22 years for
Yeah.
abduction of his girlfriend. And I'm like, God, what if I got found? And the way that they said I abducted him,
Mhm.
they said I pulled him out at a stoplight with a
Uh,
gun, two
yeah.
people, a girl and a guy. That's what they said I did, and I didn't do none of it. You know how
Yeah.
terrifying that is to
Mhm.
be in
Yep.
facing that much time for something you didn't even
Didn't
do.
do. Yeah. That's the worst too. I've been set up by the cops before and accused of shit that I didn't do. And it was like, damn, how do I prove this? Because I didn't do it. That's the worst shit. When you get in trouble, you're just thinking, okay, how can I hide this?
Yeah.
But when you didn't do something, you're like, how can I prove I just didn't do it? This ain't what happened. That's the worst
Yeah,
feeling in the world.
it is the worst feeling, man. And that's another learning experience that made me look at individuals that did 20 some years and finally proved their innocence, man. It really puts
Yeah.
shit into perspective when you're actually facing that same type of situation. And that's why I used to be a supporter of certain things when it came to death penalty and stuff like that. But you know, if you look, I follow prison news daily throughout the day,
Yeah.
and you'd be surprised how many people are being exonerated
Right now.
because now they got proof that they didn't commit the rape, they didn't commit the murder,
Yep.
and
I know people like that. You
yeah,
know.
it's hard. It's hard for you to back something like the death penalty when you see so many people beating these
Yeah. I
charges
like that.
years later.
Yeah.
Uh, so you know, but there are some people, if you were to ask me, that deserve it. You know,
How much
but
time did you do for that?
I did about a little over 3.5. I went in. I don't even know when I went in exactly, but I got out March 2008, I believe.
Mhm.
It wasn't too long of a stretch. I beat the abduction, of course. I got my charge. It was unlawful wounding, which
Mhm.
was amazing because the max for that versus malicious wound or whatever they had at first uh, was only 5 years. You
Okay.
know, so pretty much, I guess they said that I was allowed to defend myself, but I used too much force or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Got you.
But see, the judge said, because I told the story, you know, I'm talking to the police. I'm talking to the lawyer. Well, I didn't talk too much to the police. They locked me up immediately.
Yeah.
No detectives came to talk to me,
Yeah.
but I did tell
Okay.
everything to my lawyer,
Yeah.
exactly how it went down, you know? And I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to be home. I did what I was supposed to do. But then the judge, through the court hearing, said, hey, you left, got a weapon, and came back. He said I could have went into the house, called
Yeah. You had the
911.
opportunity to leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
To escape.
So, but you know, if you were to look at the situation, my house was on a main road. Like I couldn't run forward or else I'd get hit by a car. You
Yeah.
know, the only way of exiting was to go around my backyard and go in through the back door. You know, and you know, I'm just in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, like I said, I'm able. You know, if this happened in Florida, I wouldn't be in prison. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be in prison. The stand your
Florida lets
ground
that
law,
shit go down.
and that's what I hate about sometimes our laws. You know, each state, I believe, if you kind
Yeah.
of look at it, is like their own country,
Of
and they
course,
have their
it's
own
not
laws.
uniform. You know, the
Yeah,
laws aren't uniform. What's here,
yeah,
what's good here isn't good there.
yeah, and it's and that's what my lawyer did. He brought cases from these states that have, you know,
Yeah.
stand your ground, and he tried to compare it. Say, hey, this is exactly, if there's being found innocent in these states, why not now?
Yeah.
And that's what happened, man. I just kind of got railroaded, if you ask me. I mean, but at the same time, I understand where the judge is coming from.
Mhm.
I could have ran. I could have
Yeah.
ran, but it is what it is, man. So I ended up doing that. I got, I think, five. I got the max for it, and they suspended, I think, 2 years
Mhm.
or 2.5. But I had other petty charges with. I had brandishing a firearm that I was out in bond for.
Okay.
I had a couple. I think not a domestic, but I ended up when I was like 17 or 18, uh, right before I got locked up.
Mhm.
I punched this kid at an intersection, right?
Okay.
Like right before this shit happened, I punched a kid at intersection, and he was juvenile, he was damn 17, you know. And it turned out it was a crazy situation. So that was my first assault charge. Uh, but it turned out the person that I hit, because I thought he was talking crap, you know, at the car. I thought he was talking crap to me, man. He was staring at me all hard, you know, but he was singing, he said, and turns out, and now we're friends to this day. But uh the driver turned out, when I got close after I punched him and stuff, right
Uh-huh.
at the intersection, it was crazy how everything turns out, man. The driver was my best friend's girlfriend. I said,
Mhm.
oh, now they know who I am. And then sooner or later,
Yeah.
right after that, I got charged with my first assault. I had to
Yeah.
go to juvenile when I turned 18. I went to juvie courts for it, you know. So it was just a crazy thing. I had a lot of little petty shit. I didn't get too much. I think I got like 15 days for that.
Yeah.
And you do half on a misdemeanor. So it was like 7.5 days I got for that. Same with the brandishing.
Yeah.
I think I had uh I can't remember, maybe a grand larceny. I think I had with it too. I had a grand larceny because I got caught stealing a couple times.
Okay.
I had a lot of stuff going on when I was right there at the 17,
Yeah.
18
Yeah. Just
age.
adding up.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
got bonded too a lot. I got bonded a lot. So that's where all the confusion comes into play. Um, when I beat the abduction, I had a bond for the malicious wounding or
Yeah.
unlawful wounding that got dropped down to. So as soon as I beat the abduction, I got out
Yeah, you were able to
instantly.
make that bond.
I was out for a week and a half, before I went back and went to prison because I was found guilty.
Yeah.
And that sucked. But at least, you know, I got out for a week and a half. But I committed a couple more petty crimes in that
Yeah.
week and a half. You know, so it was all a bunch of crap going on at the same time around the same period. I tell people on my channel, literally, it was within like my darkest days was within like a year to 7 month time span.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it just was really dark. I was just completely lost as a kid.
Was that
And
also the time that you were dibbing and dabbling with the coke?
yeah. I mean,
You think that
I
played, you know what I mean?
it did play a factor, but you know, I wasn't doing it too much. You know, I started sniffing powder when there was a dry, you know, it was dry out there. There wasn't no bud around. I couldn't find no bud. And that's what led me there. You know, what led me to the projects
Yeah.
initially and all that's and chilling in the projects was getting to know the guy that showed me powder for first time. And he started showing me a lot of stuff. We got really close. I saved his life. And that's what really got us close. I wasn't no pluck. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that. And I seen it all around me.
Hmm.
But I did dabble and stuff. E-pills.
Yeah.
E-pills was my shot for about 6 months. But I always ended up losing weight from these things, you know? And man, I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to look like a
Yeah.
toothpick, you know? I was like, God, I'm already little. I can't be doing this, you
Yeah.
know? So, and I love to eat. It would suppress me from eating. So I was doing Adderall too, you know, dabbling with that, all uppers.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're taking stuff like that, man, your brain chemicals are all jacked up, man, and you're just not thinking right. And that's just what I believe was the main thing with, you know, that really darkened my mind was all the chemicals, all the everything, you know,
Yeah.
women, partying
Yep.
and music. But yeah, man, that's what initially I thought I'd go to prison for like armed robberies or something because
Yeah.
that's another thing I was getting into right there at that time. Thank God I never got caught for that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but I went to prison for stabbing someone. I never thought in a million years I'd go to prison for stabbing someone because I wasn't too violent, I guess. You
Yeah.
know, only time I was violent is if someone kept trying to step
Yeah.
on
Push
me.
the
You
line.
know, that
Yeah.
was it. Uh, but yeah, man, I went to prison for that first time. I went to prison twice.
Hmm.
I got out. Well, you want to talk about the first ride to prison?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Uh, I was terrified, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Of
I
course.
ain't gonna lie. The first prison I went to was a place called Deep Meadows Reception, and that's where I met the guy Busy, and I learned that abduction was nothing to play with, and that
Yeah.
was also the first place that I smoked some weed in prison. You know, and damn, was that one hell of an experience. The first time I
Yeah.
smoked over there, I'll never forget. I was on the volleyball court outside. It was a bright sunny day, man. Bright
Uh,
sunny day out in this little yard at this prison called Deep Meadows, and my buddy Busy's lit up a J. I was like, yeah,
yeah.
I'll tap it. And I just did a little baby tap, man. And then before you know it, I was zoned out. And then that's when you realize, like, damn, wake up, you know, wake up. You're that high, man. I'm like, God, wake up, man. Damn.
Get it
And
together.
yeah, what snapped me out of it, if I remember correctly, was I was on the volleyball court. And I don't know, you know, a
Yeah.
lot of homosexual guys
Hang out
like
on a
to,
volleyball
yeah,
pit.
yeah,
Yeah. Of course.
yeah.
The
I was
shoes
tripping
off.
out, man.
You
I was
know,
like, I
yeah.
gotta get out of here. I'm losing, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to my bunk and I went to sleep, man. I went to sleep, Miss Chow and everything. I didn't care. But that was a crazy first experience with reefer in lockup. And I didn't really like to smoke too much until later on. You know, I got used to it. Just like anything. Once you get used to it, then it's normal. But
Yeah.
in prison is different, you know,
Of
because
course.
you look at everything. Like I would sit there, smoke a J, and then I would see the line of people sitting for a microwave to cook a noodle. I'm like, this is a crazy world I'm in, man. You know, everyone's wrapped around these noodles and honey buns. They're all chasing these little vending machine foods, and I would analyze it, break
That's
it
what I was
down.
just going to say. You start analyzing and breaking down everything.
Yeah,
You're like,
and paranoia comes too.
oh, of course. Then you're thinking about wondering, damn, piss test coming,
Yeah,
somebody smell it, all that shit. Somebody, yeah,
exactly,
that shit
man.
is
And they
nuts.
do random drug screens all the
Yeah,
time in the prisons I was in. But
yeah.
this prison wasn't too intimidating. A lot of people, I seen a lot of people OD in
Mhm,
this prison. I seen a lot of people go get packs, or
mhm.
not a lot. I seen two people go get a pack during visitation, couldn't get it up, and they
Ooh,
OD'd from it. I
yeah,
guess it busted in their stomach right there. I mean,
yeah.
that shit was crazy.
That's some
Seen a
shit.
lot of people die from dope, and I've seen someone die from dope literally just playing cards. They went to the bathroom. This was later on in my bid, but
Mhm.
my second ride.
Yeah,
But man, we were playing cards. They went to the bathroom. I guess something came in. They went to the bathroom, did their thing, came right back. Next thing you know, they're these are black guys, right?
yeah,
They were blue, purple. I mean, you could tell
yep,
the different. They were done, man.
yeah.
And I'll never forget how long it took for him to come get them. It took
Wow.
him a long time, at least 40 to 50 minutes to come get these guys, man. And we were just screaming, screaming, screaming to help these guys.
And those
I
are the
was,
type of things that we subject ourselves to. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's the type of situations that we put ourselves in.
yeah.
In the penitentiary and getting high. You know what I mean? Which is nuts when you think about it.
It is, man. But you just got to go with you know, shit happens and you just go with the flow. That's how I was dealing with it, man. It's like, hey, this will be over soon. I wasn't facing a serious amount of time, so
Yeah, thank God.
I was enjoying my ride. My bid. I was trying to enjoy as best I can. I had a release date. I was seeing people that don't. I was seeing people that they
Yep.
ain't getting out for a very, very long time, especially when I went to my next prison because I had a violent charge
Mhm.
and that was reception where I was in receiving.
Okay.
And they shipped me to my main prison. The first main prison I went to was called Greensville Correctional Center. And this place, I'm not playing Frank. I mean, it was like its own city, man. It was like
Yeah.
a giant airport.
Yeah.
And in order to get from building to building or visitation had to come, they had to ride a bus to
Yeah.
each
Yeah. I've
visitation.
heard you
And
speak about that on the channel
yeah,
before.
it's nuts, man. I mean, people can take an overhead look of it and see how many, I don't know how many people are held in there, man, but it's a
Yeah.
lot, and this is like, 3-4 prison and level 3-4, it goes to 6, I believe, in Virginia.
Hmm.
Um, but this is where all the rapists are, the low end, the rapists,
Yeah.
murderers that probably haven't gotten in trouble in a long time. This is
Okay.
as low of a
Oh,
prison
yeah.
as they
Yeah. Yeah.
can
Gotcha.
get to. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
People
was
that got some drama on their jacket, but they've been behaving in jail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And after probably 10 years, 15 years of doing
Yeah.
good, they get dropped down to this lowest level
Yeah.
that they can. And I was in prison there, and it was so massive. That's what scared me the most was all the people I seen on the yard. Jesus, wintertime, I seen just hundreds and hundreds of orange beanies. I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus, this is unreal. So, and I'm young, man. I just fresh baby face. I couldn't even grow facial hair yet, man. So it was definitely scary, man. Going into the building for the first time was pretty damn scary. It was like the projects times 20.
Mhm.
You go into staircase, man, and I'm a white guy, or I got a little tint to me, so they might be like, oh, he might be mixed with a little something, something.
Yeah.
But I would come up the stairs, man, and it was like just a big test, man. Like because everyone's fucking with you when you go up the stairs and all that stuff when you first come in. And it was everyone coming off the yard too, so it was
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. It's just a line
Uh,
movement. Yep.
yeah, it was just covered with people. And they're all staring at me, man. It was just a very scary situation, man. I didn't know what was gonna jump off. I didn't know anything about prison. You hear stories in
Yeah.
jail. Some people, but yeah, that they take cheeks. Oh, you be all right. You just mind your business. But
Yeah.
they told me that about jail,
Yeah.
and I got in quite a bit of situations in jail, and so I was only, you know, the fear level is elevated based
Hmm.
upon prison, not only movies, music, and everything that you
Yep.
hear throughout time beforehand, but yeah, that prison was crazy, man. One of my the first person, well, the first cellie I got, I believe
Hmm.
his name was Asia or Asian China or something. I can't remember. But he was in there. He got 22 years added to his sentence for stabbing and killing a couple guys with like a samurai freaking sword. He showed me the pictures of this stuff, and it was in prison. So he was about to get out, but he ended up killing two guys before, a few years before he did, and had more time added. So I was immediately in there in my cell with a killer,
Yeah.
and after getting to know him a little bit, he was really, he was an older cat. He was probably about pushing 50. He
Yeah.
started opening up to me and telling me why he was in there for longer and all that
Wow.
stuff. It was crazy. But another guy that came to my door, I believe the same day, and people say, don't take nothing from nobody. Don't take nothing from nobody. Well, this guy came up to my door and uh, he asked me if I wanted some tobacco. He had tobacco in like a paper towel or tissue or something, and he gave it to me. Well, I took it. I said, yeah, I'll take the damn tobacco, man. I said, all that went out the window. I wanted a cigarette. And smoking was legal back then. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I went and grabbed some Lucy tobacco. I
Yeah.
started rolling one up, and that guy became one of my best friends, man. He was doing life as well.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from him and his cellmate, and it turned out to be a good friendship, even though he offered me something right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, and that really did probably save me from a lot of other bullshit chilling with those guys, because I mean, they had a little bit of respect, I guess you could say. His celly made shanks for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah. So it worked out. It worked out just right, man.
Yep.
But I wasn't in that building for too long before uh, it was some gambling shit going on, and I got moved. And my buddy Grizzy,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, I found out he was in the same prison, and I found out what building he was in. So I was
Okay.
trying everything I can to get over there. He
Yeah.
was like my best friend, and I
Yeah.
ended up getting over there. But we weren't in the same building. We would meet up at the fence every day,
Yep.
and it was just really hard to do that in that prison because it was massive,
Mm.
massive. So I would have to make up lies to leave the buildings.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would say, "Yeah, I'm in fear for my life," when I
Yeah. Yeah.
wasn't. And I would do that. I learned that in jail.
Yeah.
I remember this is a funny story. I went into a jail block. I got out the hole for fighting, and
Uh-huh.
I went into another jail block in jail, and I went in there, and they were under administrative something. They got in trouble. They took all the TVs and phones. I said, "Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I just left the hole.
Hell.
At least I had the phone in there."
Yeah. Hell no. You
So
got to
I
get
told,
out of there.
yeah, I called my old lady. I told the deputy first, "Hey man, I'm in fear for my life."
Yeah. Yeah. You got to get the fuck out of there, man.
Yeah, I said, man, I gotta get out of here. He said, "Nah, you ain't going nowhere." So I'm like, damn. I called my old lady. I said, "Brittany, you got to call this administration, tell them I'm in fear for my life," right? So she did. They came and got me. The deputy, I never forget, he said, "I know what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
I know what
Yeah.
you're
They
doing.
know.
They ain't got no
They know.
TV. I know what you're doing."
They know. Of course
Yeah.
they know.
Yeah. He said, "This is the last and only time I'm going to move you, man. It
Yeah.
ain't happening again." And then back in my head, I said, "I bet it will if she calls again," and then
They don't like that outside help.
they don't.
No,
They
you
don't.
get
But if
somebody
you
calling
got it, boy,
from
you
outside,
got
they
some.
don't like that at all.
Yeah, you got some power and some advantage over these people if you got people out there fighting for you, man,
Yes,
and
of course.
complaining and
Of
calling the
course.
right people. So don't ever think that doesn't help. It really does. But yeah, that was where I first started learning all the tricks of the trade of trying to
Mm.
get to where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, man. I got to that side of the prison. It was pretty laid back. I seen a lot of gang stuff in prison, man, that was just crazy, and led me away from the gang life. I've seen a lot of people get, you know, you would think that, at least in Virginia, you would think that gangs would be beefing with different gangs. You know what I mean? And
With
it
themselves.
wasn't like that. Yeah, it wasn't like that so much. I mean, they would, but they would talk it out in a sense. They
Yeah,
would gather,
exactly. Yep.
in the yard,
Yeah.
whoever's leading who, and they'll talk it out without
Mhm.
a crazy war going on.
Yep.
But the majority of what I've seen was people within their own gangs
Yep.
eating each other up, man, like
Exactly. The power
violating them.
struggles. Yep.
Yeah, violating them for petty shit, or I think it was just boredom,
Yeah,
and the
I agree.
majority of it, and
I
it
agree. That
just,
cannibalism.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know they didn't have nothing crazy going on, so they made some
Yep.
crazy shit going on, and that's what
I,
I seen. A lot of people being brought home, I guess you could say, to
mhm.
gangs that shouldn't have been, the
Yeah.
wrong way,
Yep.
wrong people, you know.
That stuff happens
Uh,
just for the numbers. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Just to get their
yeah,
numbers up.
yeah,
They'll
that too.
be bringing people home that knowing damn well they shouldn't, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And
or
it might just be something as simple as dude got some, his family looks out for him. He got some
exactly.
money coming in, so that type of stuff.
I seen a lot of dirt when it came to the
Right?
gang life, man, and I seen a lot of people go on crash dummy missions.
Oh, of
You know what I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
The
I never
whole
free.
prison,
Yep,
the whole and the graveyard is full of them people.
all full of them, full of them. And
Yeah.
I seen a lot of guys, man, do things they didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I never forget the one time these three guys, man, or two guys, we chill with all together all the time. And then this one guy, man, he came in and he restructured the gang. Like he put order into it,
Yeah.
and he was legit. You could tell this dude was he
Yeah.
was legit, and he was putting everyone in their place, in their
Mm-hmm.
positions, and having them do things. And he would just sit there in the center of the pod with his coffee and newspaper every day and morning while these guys are doing all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, man. We chilled every day. We tattooed each other, and this guy, one of the guys out of the two, was a part of this gang. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess the dude told him to go beat the other guy's ass that we all three of us we were chilling with together, man. I'll
Yeah.
never forget that. And he beat his ass, man, and then went back into the cell. He's like, man, look, I had to do it. I apologize, I had to do it. And then that's when I seen that other side of gang life where, hey, it don't matter if you're friends with him. It doesn't matter if that dude
Uh,
tells him to do something, he's gonna do it.
yeah.
And I didn't trust that. I didn't trust nothing about the gang life.
Yeah.
Um, I was my own guy. Of course, I had opportunities. Just wasn't for me, man. I seen a lot of the filthy sides of it. But I did see the good sides, where they're
Yeah.
all eating great and
Yeah.
enjoying cigarettes when everyone
Everything's
else
going
was
good.
out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I understand the bright side of it in prison. But the gang life in prison and on the streets is two totally different things too. But yeah, that was my first place going to prison. It was a learning experience. Got out. I was on probation for quite a while, man. Like I said, I was going in and out of lockup my whole 20s. I got violated my first time. I believe it was for like a drunk in public because I was trying to quit weed. I knew I couldn't keep smoking weed on probation.
Yeah.
I was just gonna keep going back, and then the alcohol ended up getting me violated. And I hate alcohol. I don't drink nothing to this day. I
Yeah.
can't stand it, but that's what I had to turn to, and because I couldn't just picture myself just being completely sober.
Yeah.
Completely sober. I couldn't picture that, man. It was like I've
That's
never done
hard.
that.
That's hard to do when we're in that type of lifestyle and in that
Yeah.
type of lane. You know what I mean? Like to be completely sober, you're like, nah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. And
far-fetched.
you're so used to it. You're so used. I mean, I was in prison smoking,
Yep.
getting half ounces, So, I mean,
Yep.
it happens, man. You just keep following the motion. It just takes time for you to realize you got to break it,
So when
But
was the last time you've been to prison?
the last time it's going on, I believe 5 years this month, man. I got out.
Nice.
What was it? I don't even, 5 years from here. What year is that? 2012 or 20? I don't know.
2015.
20. Yeah,
That's the
something like
same
that.
thing with me. I came home December 23rd, 2015. I maxed out. I'm done with my sentence. First week of December.
Yeah.
First time since I was, 12 years old that I'm not on paper.
Yeah.
I can't
That's
wait.
amazing, ain't it?
Yeah. Are
And
you
I'll
on
never
any
forget.
parole or anything like that?
No, that's what I was about to get into. Well, first, I went to jail for my first violation, got 6 months.
Yeah.
I got out. My second violation, I got another 6 months.
Okay.
And that's when my children were born. I had twins. They were born while I was in jail for those 6 months. I'll never forget. I was in a hole when I found out that they were born and they're healthy and they're good.
How old are
And
they now?
They are 10 now. 10 years
Boys,
old
girls?
now. Yeah, I got all girls. I got 4 children. I had, of course, 2 on the first go.
Yeah. I got twins also. I remember we spoke about twins.
Yeah.
My girls are going to be 15 in next month, matter of fact.
It's an amazing thing, ain't it? Amazing
Beautiful.
thing, man.
Now,
It's
being
crazy
a
how,
father,
yeah,
how did that change your outlook on life?
man, it changed it big time. You know, I knew how my parents were,
Hmm.
and I wanted to be like them, but I didn't want to be so much like them to the point of like belt and
Yeah.
huge amounts of. I mean, but I'm a son, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure if my father had a daughter, it wouldn't have went like that. You know what I mean? You can handle sons probably a little different than your daughters.
Yeah.
And I
Of
know
course.
one, I can't spank my daughters. I
Yeah.
just can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me.
Maybe when they're really young, I give them a little pat just so they know that it's bad, you know, that, and I'll change my facial expressions. But
Yeah. And that's enough. My
yeah, that's
daughters,
enough.
I've never, even my son, I smacked him on the ass one time. And after that, I was like, I can't do that. I'll
Yeah,
slap
it's,
his hand, something like that. That's about it.
yeah. And then,
All
and
I gotta do
then
is change the tone of my voice and, it
that's
gets,
usually all it takes, man. You know, show them a little bit of that little scary side of you, and that's all it takes. My form of punishment now, if I were to punish them, I'd just take all their electronics. You
oh, of
know,
course, that gets it done.
that gets it done too. I've had to take their damn doorknobs off their doors the other day, man.
What did they do?
They keep locking it, man. They keep locking it, and I never. And I ain't gonna lie. I walked in there,
Yeah.
and you gotta be careful, man, with this game Roblox. Man, Roblox. You know, I don't go through that because they got their own phones. I gave them
Yeah.
their own phones when they're 9, man. It was a
Yeah.
big mistake. Big mistake if you were to ask me, you know. Because there's a lot of damn predators out there, man.
Yeah.
And they weren't really doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Besides, hey, I would wake up in the middle of the night and catch them like freaking 12:30 at night playing Roblox. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then I realized when I took their phones, I seen in their messages that some of these guys, man, they're just literally trying to come at them. You know what I mean? You know, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't reply or nothing. They knew better to do that, but you could see it there.
Yeah.
And
You see where it was. See, and we got a thing like that in our house where we our daughters, the 15-year-old twins and the 10-year-old, we have a thing where we tell them, I tell them, phone's on the table. They already know what that means. Phone on the table. I'm going through your phone. So one day my 10-year-old, she lives with her mother full time. Me and her mother, we have 50-50 custody. So she's here. She's like, no, I'm not giving it to you. I was like, what? Give me the phone. She's like, no, my mom bought it. I said, look, I don't care. So it turns out she was worried. She was in a group message with her friends and they were cursing in the message. So I said, look,
oh,
I'm not worried about that. I said, do I want you to curse? No. Do I want to hear you curse? No. That's not what I'm worried about. I said, I'm making sure that there's nothing else that should be going on. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And thankfully, nothing, but we have to be careful nowadays,
we do, man.
especially, I feel, especially those of us that like on YouTube and stuff like that. I feel like we have to be even a little more careful. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
me on my channel, my daughters are in the videos sometimes, so they'll see
yeah,
them. You know what I mean? And I feel like, all right, I got to pay even more close attention because you never know who's on the other side of that screen.
yeah,
There's some sick motherfuckers out there.
yeah. There is, man, and I've had my children in there, but I've slowly taken them out. You know,
Yeah.
I've heard some of the vilest things people have commented
Oh
on
yeah.
YouTube about because one of my daughters was born without her left hand,
Okay.
and damn, there's some sick people out there joking her
Yeah.
for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, damn, how can you even do that, man? But
I had the same thing with the baby. She's 4 months old, and some weirdo on the channel is, just saying some crazy stuff, and I was just
yeah,
like,
I
you
mean,
never know.
the craziest stuff, man. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
the craziest.
yeah,
Like,
of course.
I'm not even gonna repeat it,
Read
but it
it. Yeah,
was,
of
it's
course.
messed up, man. And but yeah, now, you just gotta be careful with those type of things. But when they get older, man, you just like we were talking about, we just gotta lead them in the right direction, and hope for the best.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
a good segue. How do you deal with all the negativity that comes with social media and having a YouTube channel? Because I know I get it, so I'm sure you get it way
yeah,
worse. With
yeah,
you'll have some people, they just hate hard. They'll be the nastiest in the comments for no reason. How do you deal with that?
Well, first off, I have certain words that are not going through my they're not coming through. You know, you can put
Yeah.
certain words in
Yep.
there,
Yep. You could block
and
you.
that's one thing. But when I first started, it would make me very mad and very stressful, anxiety ridden. I'm like, damn, you know, first it was first it was my hairline. I was joking my hairline, man.
Yeah.
Damn, you know, I'm like, damn. And
Yeah.
that really started getting to me, man. Then my weight, I'm thinking I'm in shape. Everyone calling me fat now. I'm like, damn, I guess I am fat, you know. And then and that started bugging me at first. And then I brought my
Yeah.
kids into it. And I hear that shit just made me mad, you know.
Yeah.
And then but like I tell everyone goes through the same stuff. I mean, the comment section is where people can express whatever they want without any kind of repercussions, you know, for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just takes time getting used to. Uh, but a lot of these guys, I tell them too, because I interview a lot of convicts that are fresh out, you
Yeah.
know, and they want to try to do what I'm doing. And it's all, hey, that's all good. I don't mind it. You
Yeah.
can do the exact same damn thing. I don't care. You know, I
Yeah.
might, you know, it is what it is. But I tell him, I said, look, man, you better be prepared. I know you think you're freaking thick skinned, but you're in
Yeah.
for a treat, man. And don't do nothing stupid. Don't react and put your expressions out or emotions out
Oh yeah. That's
on.
the worst thing you could do.
And that's what I did the first time. I was beefing with a couple YouTubers,
Yeah.
man. And I used to put my emotions
Yeah.
online and call them out. Let's fight 1-on-1 type
Yeah.
shit. And then, you know, my commenters helped me to realize that's not the path I need to be
Yeah. You
taking.
can't
So
give them that attention.
yeah, and you slowly realize that. But I tell all these guys this, and I try to get them ready for what they're about to be coming up against. But now, I can honestly say now, I don't get too much hate, man. You know,
Yeah.
what I get now is a lot of sneak shit.
Yeah.
A lot of sneak shit. A lot of people want to come on my show or tell me that they're good people and they love my content just to come on my show.
Yeah.
And then later on down the road, they might have gotten however many subs or views or whatever. They don't give two shits. They won't even reply to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The slime bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how, you know, that's what I'm dealing with now. A lot of snake like shit. But you know, as far as negativity, I mean, I kind of just embrace it, man. Just all right, dude, you say whatever you want. You know, as long as it ain't racial or
Yeah.
you know, derogatory in a sense, you could say whatever you want to me,
Yep.
man. You know, I'm out
Uh,
here doing positive things, you know. So I mean, I'm not out here trying to be a gangster. I'm out
yeah.
here trying to spread love,
Yeah.
peace, and
Yeah.
wisdom.
Yeah.
That's it. And I want other people to eat with me, you know. So it's
Do
like
you
how
read your
can
comments?
yeah, I do, but there's a lot. There's a lot, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. It gets hard.
I usually just like Instagram,
Yeah.
when I check it, it's usually the first 50 to 100 comments or messages that I see of that day, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone underneath that,
Yeah. It gets
Instagram is
very,
different. It's like the first 20 messages I see, and then anyone underneath that is just screwed because I'm not going no further than that. I got attention span horrible, and I got a lot
yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
and but YouTube, comments, I just brush through them, and I very rarely get rid of comments now, even if they're talking crap.
Yeah. That's the same with the only time I get rid of comments is if they're they can say what they want pretty much about me. I don't care about that stuff. But if they're going at somebody else, like on the interview, if they might
Oh
be,
yeah, I don't like that either.
not expressing their opinion, but just being spiteful and nasty, like, oh, this person's ugly, a whore, I don't like that type of stuff.
I
Or
don't
if
either,
somebody
man.
else on the channel that I don't like.
And it's stressful too because you can moderate that to an extent. Like I tell the
Yeah.
people, look, man, I'm gonna try my best the first day or two. I'm not gonna let these clowns clown you for no reason.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try my
Yeah.
best. But after that, man, I can't keep track of it. I got
Yeah. Of
videos
course.
every day,
Yes.
and I'll go look at some of these past videos where
Comes a
people
lot.
were clowning them, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of clowning going
Yeah.
on, and
It becomes a lot.
they just got to deal with it, man. This is the name of the game. This is the internet, and I tell them that, and majority of them they get used to it,
Yeah.
and some of them they quit or they get violent back. or they
Now
might
you
even
said
start.
something. Sorry, you said something that I want to touch on too. You said a lot of people that start doing the same exact thing you're doing. I have that also. Like, my thing is, I do the interviews in Kensington. Um, a couple months ago, there's a guy that came out doing the same thing, same exact stuff that I do.
Area 2?
Yeah, exactly. Same area.
Oh shit.
I stay where I stay, and I guess he's, you know,
Yeah.
couple neighborhoods over, but he does the interviews, sort of the same thing. And at first I was like low key hating, you know what I mean? I was like, damn, he's doing the same exact shit, and then as I started thinking about it, I was like, you know what? At first I'm hating. I said, I don't like that feeling. You know what I mean? That feeling that made me feel. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't like it. And my wife, she was like, well, you know what? Maybe, obviously you had to inspire him to do that, because
Hmm.
obviously he didn't, he didn't just come up with that idea to do that out of the blue. You could see it's pretty much the same thing as far as the interviews go. He doesn't do the other stuff in the community work, but as far as the interviews go, she's like, you might have inspired, well, you had to inspire him in order for
Yeah.
him to be doing that in the same neighborhood, same type of stuff, and I looked at it that way, and I was like, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's doing this, and maybe that's saving him from selling drugs or saving him from putting a gun in somebody's face, not money wise, but just having something to involve his energy and his time into,
Exactly. Yep.
so I was like, it is what it is,
Yeah.
you do, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
You know, see, I look at it like this. Before I started doing YouTube,
mhm,
someone told me about it. So
yes,
in a sense, I'm
yes,
copying them. Okay.
exactly,
So,
exactly. Yep,
so
yep,
there's I can't be mad at it. And at the same time, my whole agenda here is to help people. So if that's helping them,
exactly.
hey,
That's
I'm all for it, man. Just
That's the same way I looked at it. I was like, my point is to help people. So if that means if he's interacting with some other people that I don't even know and won't be able to reach, then so be it. You know what I mean? He's interacting and helping more people, and then we reach more together. But at first I was like, I was like, damn,
yeah. Yeah,
but
for sure, man. You feel like you were robbed of what you started and all that good
yeah,
stuff. I mean, there's like 7 different types of the same cereal in superstores. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
It would be just a different name. And it happens everywhere. Everyone
exactly.
copies, seems to do
Yep,
their own spin on stuff that's already been done. There's a bunch of original stuff here and there, but sooner or later, when someone sees you're making a ton of money off it,
yeah.
someone's gonna
It's
do it too.
recycled.
It's
Yeah,
just what it comes with the game,
of course.
and you got to embrace it. And this is what makes it. See, comes back to full circle where we started, where we were people with compassion. We were battling between, hey, we didn't want to really do that
Yeah.
type of thing, and now it's kind of the same thing, because at first you're hating on them, but your conscience comes into play and say, you know what, there's probably a lot more positivity coming from it than what I need to be focusing on the negative side. So
Yeah.
uh you could be half stepping, if you're all into YouTube just for entertainment and money, let it be just for that. But you can't have compassion, try to help, and then be all about money at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's hard to balance the two.
Yep.
But when shit like that, like you said, happens, uh, that's when you just got to embrace it and try to, hey, pray for the man. Hopefully he gets up there too,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and it'll come back to you in some way, shape, or form. But a lot of people are in it for the wrong reasons, man. For the wrong reasons, and they will not. It will not last. I tell people that you know they feed into drama and they get views from it and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So yeah, you're gonna get a lot of views from drama, but I can
Oh
guarantee you,
yeah.
if you were to go make a video of something else,
Yeah.
there ain't gonna be
Not gonna
nobody
sell.
viewing. What
Yeah.
kind of freaking viewership base do you have here? You got
Yeah,
people that
exactly.
just want to see your pain and downfall or drama.
Yeah.
So that's why I never feed into it. That's why I stopped a lot of my, let's say, reaction videos, because I didn't want that audience. I didn't want those type of people. I want a solid audience that likes my content for what it is.
Yeah.
And that's it. So
Yeah.
YouTube's a tricky thing, man, and it comes with time. Just
Yeah.
like anything else, learning the ropes and dealing with all the negativity and the copycats and stuff like that. But you got to also say to yourself, Frank, they can't do it like us, man. They can't do it like us. They ain't got this beard. Boy, I ain't got mine right now, but they ain't got this beard.
100%, brother. 100%. I agree 100%.
You
Brother,
know?
I gotta get to work. I gotta get to the shop, but I want to finish this.
Yeah.
Could we maybe over the weekend or next week?
Yeah, man.
Sit down again, brother.
Whenever you like, man. I had a blast. The hour went by fast as hell,
Absolutely.
man.
It shit flew.
But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Anytime you want to wrap it up, finish it up, anytime. I'm good.
Absolutely.
Just gotta remind me, you know, I be forgetting my own shoes.
Yeah, of course. I'll be tied up over the weekend, but come next week, I'll shoot you, I'll touch base with you over the weekend, and then we'll set something up for early next week.
All right, sounds good, man. Let me know. All right.
I definitely want to finish. This fucking hour just flew by.
It did, man. Hey, no worries, bro. Just let me know, and we'll make it happen, man. I appreciate you having me back on, though, or having me on. I ain't been back on.
I thank you for your time, brother. I thank you for your time.
I'm about to get to work my damn self.
But, I appreciate you. Have a great day, brother. And I'll touch base with you over the weekend, and we'll set it up for next week again. All right, brother?
Sounds good, my friend. You be easy out there. All right, man?
Likewise.
Keep doing what you're doing.
You too, brother.
All right, take care.
All right.